Question from Ray, and this is actually a perfectly timed question, Ray, because we're going to watch that right now when we talk about blocker posture. So, Chris, I'll let you address this question as we watch some clips from your team. But Ray asks about starting hand position for our blockers and why we start there. So, Ray, without further ado, we're going to watch that right now, and we're going to talk about some blocker posture. And I think as we get to posture, let's start with the feet. Where do you want their feet, Keegan?
Yeah, I want them in a position where they can go three directions, left, right, and up is kind of what I would say. So the width of their feet is based on their ability to do those three things. If your feet get too narrow, it's hard to go side to side. If your feet get too wide, it's harder to go low to high is how I talk to it to our athletes.
Okay, and then as we talk about arms and hands, Chris, we can see you've got three blockers here, and they've all got their hands in different spots here. Your right side, her hands are down by her knees. Your middle's up here, kind of by her neck, and your left front, kind of in a load. She's at her waist with her hands. So this, Ray, will answer your question right now. Where do you like their hands and why, and how do you teach it?
Yeah, the real answer for my end is we don't spend a ton of time talking about it. I don't want them getting overly thinking about their hand position based on what their read is and maybe what their feet are doing. We do teach if you don't have any load or any help responsibility, you're probably better off loaded a little bit lower. So you'll see our right side blockers there, no help responsibility, able to load. You see it in the previous clip and in this one are both our left side blockers are getting ready to take off towards the left. Kentucky had a little bit faster of a right side attack. And then our middles, if there's a threat in the middle where we feel like, hey, they can run quick, we might want them to be a little bit closer to the action than down low, especially if a team's running a faster quick. If there's time to make the move and we're able to, have her hands low and go low to high, I'm okay with that. But part of it too is just comfortability, and so they feel like they're in a good position to make a move. And I know that goes against some of the GMS where, hey, we're faster we're down low and loaded. And again, there's a little bit of nuance in there, but overall, I'd rather them be really good at reading and really good with their feet, and at their hands at the end of the move is a little bit more important to me than the initial stance.
Yeah, so right now it looks like Kentucky does have the ability to run maybe a back quick right now, and so your middle's still kind of here. So the advantage of being here is that if they do set the middle, do set a quick, you can get up quicker, correct?
Correct. And I know, again, this might go against a little bit of what's in the manual where, studies show that you can still be just as quick from being down low. But at the end of the day, it becomes a little bit of a comfortability thing here. And also there's still a threat going that way. And you'll see there's kind of some chicken wing arm going with our middle there. But at the end of the day, we're looking at, hey, can you take away space over the net? And how is that effective for you to do that? And I know this isn't the manual, but I ran this study when I was at Nebraska. My boss asked me to look at this arm work pattern specifically. And, I didn't find there was much difference of whether you start here or down low or chicken wing or long arms. So that's just one man study though. So don't just listen.
Keegan, do you teach hand positioning?
Yeah, again, I think somewhere, if you want to reference somewhere around your sternum, to me makes sense. I do think it's nice if your blockers are called on a read and they drop their hands, they're not seeing things right. Or if they're called on a load and their hands are staying up too long, it gives you an insight into what they're seeing. If you've taught them to move their hands and change their starting hand position based on what they're seeing, you get a little bit of a hint as to what they're seeing or not seeing. So I do think there's some value there. I've watched the Long Beach men, who start with their arms down by their side, and their argument makes sense to me, which is if 70% of our moves are three-step crossovers, shouldn't we be best prepared to make 70% of our moves? So it's interesting and fun to see that, people think the arms are the fastest part of the kinetic chain is something else you'll hear too. So there's some different methodologies out there. For us, I think it's, again, somewhere around your sternum. If you don't have help responsibilities, then I'd like them to really relax their arms really loose down by their sides so they're in a position to run.